11-0, advancing to this quarterfinal. Let's send it down to our house announcer for the starting lineups.
Omen Galito. Number 3, forward, Fisher Walters. Number 4, midfielder, Ramiro Zamora. Number 5, sweeper, Armando Zamora. Number 6, forward, Derek Visas Matoya. Number 8, midfielder, Anderson Flores. Number 13, forward, Carlos Garcia. Number 17, the defender, Cody Pithen. Number 23, defender, Durham Kelly. And number 24, midfielder, Jeffrey Matoya. Assistant coach, Lucas Aguilera, and head coach, Carlos Garcia. And now for your home team, Kennedy Eagles. Number 1, goalkeeper captain, Carter Lansdale. Number 4, defender, captain, Ricardo Varey Martinez. Number 7, midfielder, Omar Artola. Number 8, midfielder, Alex Loeza. Number 10, midfielder captain, Jesus Sirocco. Number 11, forward, Diego Fuentes Rodriguez. Number 13, a defender, captain, Amir Rubio. Number 14, midfielder, Jose Castelleda Rios. Number 17, a midfielder, Justin Arias. Number 20, forward, Rodrigo De Leon. And number 26, defender, Nate Vodovnik. Assistant coach, Brian Lopez. And head coach, Dan Buschendorf. You please rise and face the scoreboard end of the field. And remove any headwear as we face this, for the national anthem.
Playoff soccer for Kennedy here in the Section 2A quarterfinal. And the opponent, the Mankato Loyola Crusaders, Josh Powers, joined by Mauricio Berrientos. Mauricio, an easy win for Kennedy. I know we didn't have coverage on Monday, 11-0. So really the first true test for them here, a Mankato Loyola team that up until about a week ago was winless on the season, but all they've done in their last 3 games is pile up 21 goals, 3 consecutive wins, and they're here to, after an upset win of their own last week in the playoffs.
Well, definitely, Josh, something to, for the Kennedy team to be aware of, right? This team is trying to grab the momentum they have with the last 3 wins and, 21 goals, regardless of who you face, right? It's a considerable amount of goals. So definitely something that Kennedy needs to be aware of. Like you said, not a very strong opponent. They face Monday. This is their true test to get ready, for a semifinal or even, to the final in this division.
And we do want to say 12 of those goals came against Tri-City United, which is the team Kennedy played on Monday and beat 11-0. But Did get an upset over United Christian 4-3 on Monday, did Loyola. So the Crusaders are here. 3 of those goals for Loyola came on penalty kicks.
Oh.
So we'll see how much offense they can generate. Kennedy, on the meantime, 6-5 now on the season. They are without Mauricio. I noticed in the starting lineups, Jose Castaneda Rios, one of their better defenders. He is out of the starting lineup. Nate Vidovnik getting the start. Otherwise, Kennedy comes into this game with the regular complement of starting players that we've seen all season.
Yes, definitely. And coaches know they have their reasons, and they probably seen some of these players, and they want to give the opportunity, right? Sometimes you get better. Sometimes you have a little bit of bothering in some of your muscles, and it's like, do I really want to take a chance? Let's see how this other person works.
Right,
So,
we don't know the reasoning, but it is Vidovnik has played a lot of minutes for Kennedy this year, so no stranger to seeing the field, and he's in his normal spot that we've seen at that right defensive spot, and he'll attempt the Kennedy throw in here. And it's
Really good
Fuentes
throw.
Rodriguez from Siriaco Mundo taken down. Good slide tackle. Providing pressure there, Vera Martinez, one of the co-captains. 8 Kennedy seniors tonight. Mauricio hoping that this is not their final game.
Definitely, right? You want to make it at least to the championship if you cannot really make it to state. So all their hopes to keep moving on within the ranks of the playoffs.
Kennedy, if they win tonight, they would face the winner of Mankato West and Faribault. That's the 2-7 matchup. Be played at the high seed. So Kennedy would need a Faribault upset win as they play across in front. Header, De Leon. And the shot from De Leon blocks. So Kennedy with an early nice chance there. I mentioned that 2-7 game. That's the Mankato West team that Kennedy lost to in last year's section championship. So I'm sure they'd want another crack at Mankato West, and they may get that with a win here tonight. Of course, they would hope Mankato West would lose. Not only would they face Faribault, Mauricio, the lower-seeded team, but then they would get another home game as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you always hope to keep things at home, and from the support of your home crew and everything. Although with the pandemic, is pretty much the same amount of people that have to come or go there. So
Less
not
fans,
much of a difference. Yes.
But you still get to play on your home field, and
Yes.
I think that makes a bit of a difference.
Yes.
We do need to mention tonight, we haven't talked a lot of weather here as Kennedy gets a steal at midfield, a turnover. Wind is a huge factor in this one as Siriaco Mundo sends one into Arias. Could not quite get the first touch. It will be a goal kick. This wind, Mauricio, my iPhone says 25 miles an hour coming from the west. It's more of I would say a northwest wind. So if you're looking on your screen, if you see some of these flags whipping, it's going in Kennedy's direction from maybe the bottom left of your screen to the top right. So hugely important for Kennedy, especially in this first half. They'd love to get at least a goal on the board because in the second half, they're going to switch sides and Loyola will have the benefit of that win for the majority or for the most part.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Right. It's always nice to play. Having the win on their back. So they need to take advantage of that, right? That's when you have people who can take long shots into the net. They're able to score with the wind at their back.
And it's just easier to get the ball upfield too.
Yep. Or you just choose to have a different approach, right? You start playing all the balls close to the ground to just maintain control and don't let the wind not be a big factor.
A great point, Mauricio. And I think Kennedy is a team that's built that wind may not affect them as much as some other teams. A very good passing team. They're not a long ball team. They're not a counter-strike team for the most part. They want to own that midfield, and they're fine with progressing it upfield with a series of passes.
Definitely. And you have seen enough of these games and from this team, right? You can see it right now happening where within 4 touches they are already at on top of the 18. So
and guys like Siriaco Mundo, he is so good distributing from that midfield area. You just saw it right there with that ball through to Arias, and Kennedy is already getting leaking behind that Crusader defense a few times already here in the first 5 minutes of this game. So a good sign for the Eagles.
yeah, so far they have shown to be the dominating team right now. Again, they have come at least 4 or 5 times within scoring opportunity, while the Mankato Loyola team, has not really been close to it.
No, these two teams did not play, obviously, in the regular season. The only game in common they had was that game against Tri-City United. Loyola winning 12-0, Kennedy 11-0, and the Crusaders, for the first time with the possession in Kennedy's half of the field, they're going to get a corner kick here. If you're wondering about the Crusaders, who are some guys to watch, Derek Vivas Montoya, number 6. He had 2 goals on Monday, and one of those came on a penalty kick, and another guy, Ramiro Zamora, number 4 for the Crusaders. So keep your eye on those 2 guys offensively.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Quarter kick taken here by Oman Galindo. Number 2, a sophomore. First chance for the Crusaders, and they get a deflection. That was not cleared out cleanly on that first touch by Arias, but Kennedy gets away with it.
Yeah, and those balls are really dangerous because it's really hard for you to control with your feet, and also hard for you to control with any other part of your body, right? Because they're not high enough, but they're not low enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw it right there. It bounced off our player, and then was fortunate enough that it bounced off the Mankato player too.
Set pieces are another area where that ball is going to be moving a little bit more than usual with this wind.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we don't know, Mother Nature, if it's going to stay this way or not. But so far, it doesn't look like it's slowing down.
No, there was
anymore.
wind advisories I was getting on my ride up for Dakota County, at least. That's where I live. That's a county just to the south of here, south of the river, so not far.
It shouldn't be that different.
There
Although,
There
you'll
was
be
a little
surprised.
rain. Sorry, Marisa. There was a little rain in the area, but I don't think that will be a factor. So
No,
just
I
the
don't think
wind to
so.
deal with here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Siriaco Mundo trying to get open. Loaiza over to Vidovnik. We've seen Siriaco Mundo more of a forward the last couple weeks now, maybe a midfield position here tonight. He'll distribute, tried to get it across to Fuentes Rodriguez, and off the side of the foot of the Crusader defender over there, a Kennedy corner, their first corner kick of the game.
Yeah, another golden opportunity for Kennedy to take advantage, right? They have a couple of players who can definitely go up in the air and win some of all of those balls.
Certainly De Leon, Perez, 2 guys that come to my mind anyway.
Yeah. So, and these are definitely opportunities that they need to take advantage.
Far post! And just wide, that header, and I think it was...
Fuentes Rodriguez, yeah.
Well, the corner was by Arias, and I think the header was by Perez, if I'm not mistaken. But a good chance for Kennedy nonetheless. It was actually Galvan, I believe. Loaiza Galvan, number 8.
Number 8, yeah.
Blasted ahead of the Crusaders on a long run. Vidovnik back to defend. And they get by him. Here is Vivas Montoya. And played nicely there by Vidovnik. So he passes his first test, getting the start tonight.
And he's a really good defender. I see him play, time and time. Also, when he played with JB as well, he's a really good defender, strong in the back.
Up ahead, it's Siriaco Mundo. Vera Martinez now. Ball through for Fuentes Rodriguez, but too tall.
A little too much. Some of those passes that you wish you can have back, right?
Right, and the wind may have carried that a little bit. Goalkeeper, by the way, for Loyola, Jack Richards. He's a senior. You see that goal kick only getting to that 40-yard line against the win, the Crusaders in this first half. So important for Kennedy to try to take the lead in this half. And I think the Crusaders, they would be totally fine if this ended scoreless heading to the second half where they would have the win to their back.
Yeah, I don't see that being a big factor for Kennedy at this point, right? Like we talked about it, they're more of a passing on the ground team. So either way.
I think it affects Loyola more. Kennedy figures to have more possession in this game, and it may be harder for the Crusaders to advance it with a longer counterattack against the wind, although they do have a throw in here.
Looks like it was not correctly taken throw in, and now it's Kennedy's possession.
Crusaders, they were winless until this recent 3-game winning streak. They were 0-9, but ended the last 2 games of the regular season beating Tri-City United 12-0, Waseca 5-2, and then that upset over United Christian in the first round. They were the 6th seed. Loyola the 11 with the upset.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I have not, had the opportunity to watch Waseca play this year, but last year they had a really strong team.
Last year, I believe they were seeded 3rd in the section, I want to say.
Yeah, because they the semifinal was against Waseca.
Right, and this year not as strong. You're right. They were in the 8-9 game, number 9 this year. So a little bit down, but still a good win for Loyola near the end of the regular season. Here comes Vera Martinez, Siriaco Mundo. Great touch there. Slips it through for Martinez. And did keep it in play, but Richards was there. That was close.
It was really close and a really good effort by the keeper to close down on the angle of where he was able to either play the ball or squeeze it through, right? Probably not a left-footed player because he looks like he was not able to place it the way he wanted.
If you're wondering, the 1 seed, by the way, is Worthington in this section. They played tonight against 8th seeded Mankato East. The 4-5 game, this is on the opposite side of the bracket Kennedy's in, is Marshall and St. Peter. So again, Kennedy, if they win tonight, they would play the winner of Faribault and Mankato West in that section semifinals. It's poked away here. On the run is Amir Rubio, and he will slide it out of play. Rubio, there's Castaneda Rios. Now he is in the lineup now, 14 for Kennedy, so he's obviously available tonight, so that's a good sign for the Eagles.
Yes, I mean, you want to try different things as a coach, right? But if you feel confident and a player has been playing well for the team, then, why not?
And the other defender that'll rotate, Marvin Gonzalez Rodriguez, very dependable for Kennedy. Not in there now, number 25. Free kick here for Loyola.
Yeah, it looks like the player already asked for distance, for the wall. Gotta be careful. Some of these players are very crafty to take these free kicks, right? Curving on the far side, upper 90s. Almost impossible for goalkeepers to.
There's the ball. They're trying to score directly. Remember, they had 3 penalty kick goals against United Christian in that first round playoff win. I don't know if I've ever seen a game, Mauricio, with 3 penalty kick goals by one team in a game, but that happened on Monday for the Crusaders.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah.
I'm sure it's happened
it's very
before,
uncommon, but it's very uncommon.
Right. You might get 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky, but they certainly took advantage of those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Well, and sometimes it's interesting, right, because of the what plays off in soccer too, is if you find, what I like to call the player who's struggling or maybe, gets upset quickly and things like that, people start, poking and figuring out, oh, yep, he could get in trouble if I keep pushing the boundaries. And then if players find it, they try to exploit that.
And there's more desperation, too, in the playoffs. You're much more likely to commit a foul that you know is in the box and going to be resulting in a penalty kick versus maybe in the regular season you give up that goal. There's less desperation knowing that your season –
it's not going to end, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, 3 penalty kicks in one game. We give Loyola credit. They took advantage. We've seen Kennedy, the last 2 penalty kicks their opponents have taken have not resulted in goals by either one. Of course, most notably the Jefferson penalty kick, which was a great save by Carter Lansdale with under 30 seconds remaining in that game, which is maybe the moment of the year for Kennedy in the regular season.
Yeah, and probably for Carter too.
For sure. Yeah, you could tell by his reaction. He was jumping around. He was hamming it up in front of our on-field camera, so he enjoyed that moment for sure.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
Definitely, saving a penalty kick, right? Because there's so few that the goalkeepers are able to stop. I mean, with a few exceptions, right? There are some people who basically that's their cup of tea, stopping penalty kicks. Still, they're not 50%
No.
savings. So stopping a penalty kick is a pretty big deal for a goalie.
Yeah, you have to guess right, and sometimes that doesn't even matter if it's a well-placed kick. But Lansdale was able to outstretch and preserve that win for Kennedy in the Battle of Bloomington.
Yes, definitely.
Nearing the midway point of this first half, just under 25 minutes remaining, still scoreless here in the section quarterfinal.
And just a quick question for you, Josh, and for maybe this is something we can talk about, for the people watching at home too. It's like, what is the rule right now for a tie game, right? How is that playing right now with this COVID? So, for example, during regular season, we understood that there will be no additional time played.
Well, I do not. We will try to find that out at halftime. Obviously this game will not end in a tie one way or the other. And I would think at some point, we've seen in the playoffs at some point penalty kicks would be a factor. And we'll try to get that for you at half. Hopefully that doesn't come into play for Kennedy. We'd like to get them a nice 2-3 goal lead here, make it comfortable. But the Crusaders are playing their best soccer at the end of the year. We have a foul on Kennedy.
Yeah, well, the Crusaders are showing up, and they definitely are showing they don't want to go down in the history of the playoffs or just giving up team. They're playing strongly. They're giving Kennedy a run for their money.
They are obviously from the Mankato area, the northeast corner of Mankato. It's where the high school is located. Offside flag late, but it did come up. The Crusaders got a touch on that ball. Lansdale still came up with it, but it would not have counted.
Definitely, call out to Carter. He continued to play. That's what you need to do, right? Some other players will raise their hand and stop playing, and the referees will not call it, right? Keep playing to the whistle.
Kennedy trying to get another opportunity. Loaiza, nice pass fake. Siriaco Mundo stabs it over Martinez. And it's cleared away by the Crusaders. They are packing it in, Loyola back there. Good moves there by Gonzalez Rodriguez. Back in for Kennedy.
Yeah, another really strong player. He's been playing very good defensively this year.
I don't know if I've seen him make more than one or two mistakes all year, number 25 in Navy. Here's Vivas Montoya, the most dangerous player, not been a factor yet. And Kennedy's going to come away with possession again.
Yeah, one of the things to notice here for this Kennedy team is you're gonna see how midfielders, right? They're not just central or they're not one side or another. They continue to move to open space to where they're more effectively able to pass the ball, right? You've seen it with number 10 with Jesus Siriaco. He's not just central. He's going left. He's going right, right? He's trying to open up the space so people have options to use the middle of the field.
And Kennedy's so good at finding him to distribute up to the forwards. Good play there by Loyola's 24, Jeffrey Montoya, sophomore, keeping Arias away from that ball. Loyola throws. We hit 21 minutes remaining first half, still scoreless. So we get under the lights. A little earlier start than normal here, 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Under the lights now. We'll see if the wind dies down as the night progresses. Right now, Kennedy getting the benefit of the wind, which is mostly at their back, out of the northeast, or out of the northwest, Lansdale runs up to grab it.
Yeah, that's something that I have noticed with Lansdale is he's a really good area goalie too, right? He's not afraid to come out for the ball. if he feels he's the closest player to the ball.
And you have to make that decision in a split second sometimes, and he has a good feel for when he's going to be able to get there.
Yes, definitely. One of the things I'm noticing too from the Loyola team is they continue to play the long ball even against the wind, right? So that's definitely is going to be something they're going to do on the second half.
And that could open up more opportunities for them in that second half, as Kennedy's controlled the majority of the possession time, forcing Loyola to be more of a counter team in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that trend not continuing throughout the way Kennedy can control and distribute the ball so effectively and quickly. Off of Siriaco Mundo. Arias now at midfield. Up for Siriaco. Not quite hard enough on the pass, and now the Crusaders trying to counter. As it deflects over, they've got some space, and they get a shot off. It's kind of popped up in the air. Ramiro Zamora didn't get all of it, and an easy catch for Carter Lansdale.
Yeah, those balls not easy to hit, right? But if you hit them well, you'll create a very dangerous opportunity.
Kennedy wanting a foul there, and I believe they get it.
Mm-hmm.
So just not too far outside of the 18 here. A good opportunity, especially with the right-footed kicker from that angle. Kennedy not they don't have the height of maybe some other teams, like we've seen at Jefferson. So these set pieces, not always as effective. It's one reason why you rarely see a punt from Carter Lansdale. He'll just roll it on the ground or pass it ahead to one of their teammates just to get possession. But here's Siriaco. Let's see what he can do with it here.
Good ball in the middle of the field.
Over the head of De Leon, but it will result in a corner kick. And now Arias, the left-footed from this side, the lefty comes over. Good angle for him here, especially with the wind helping him curl that ball a little bit more. Go short pass to Siriaco Mundo. Arias getting to that left and bent it the wrong way.
Yeah, it was a good try, right? Good effort. He had to be a little bit more square to be able to make that shot more effective.
Arias had a beautiful goal against Jefferson. His first ever goal was the game winner in that game. Seen his confidence grow. He's only a freshman.
He's got a lot of future with Kennedy.
Going to be
Definitely.
a very important player for them. And he already is this year. Blasted ahead by Vivas Montoya. Loyola just content. Again, Mauricio, we've seen those last couple of balls. They don't just send it upfield somewhere. They don't necessarily have to have a player in the area.
We'll start chasing the ball, right? Just put it up there, and we'll start chasing the ball.
Kennedy wins a 50-50 ball. Fuentes Rodriguez! Just over the bar.
Really good effort there by Fuentes Rodriguez. He's so the goalie, and he's like, I'm going to play a little bit to his left. So if that ball comes down 4 or 5 inches, we would be having a goal for Kennedy.
Foul on Siriaco Mundo. 16 minutes remaining first half. From Bloomington Stadium, winner moves to the section semifinals. Kennedy made it all the way to the section championship last year before losing to Mankato West. That is likely the opponent in the semifinal round. At least favored are both teams. Both have to win tonight. Kennedy would love another chance at West.
And that will be the semifinal, right, Josh?
That would be the semifinal. So still 3 more wins required for Kennedy to get that section championship. Vida Martinez slides one through. Sidiaco Mundo dancing. De Leon, and he'll send it toward the court. I think he thought Arias was going on a run. Arias wins that ball, though. Taken down. And we do have a foul. It's outside of the 18, so a free kick for Kennedy.
Yep. Well, the closest referee to that side, he definitely called it out and saw it. So that's why you have side referees, right, to help you out. Some central referees don't like having the side refs calling fouls, but I think it's definitely necessary.
Here's a strike by Arias! And the header misses wide by Galvan. I totally agree with you, Mauricio. It's just so much field to cover for one person. And as a former umpire, if I'm a home plate umpire, I want a second base umpire. I don't want to have to make that call from, home plate on whether a guy's out or safe at second base.
Yep.
For sure, give me another official out there to help me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kennedy moving quickly. Sidiaco missing wide.
Again, with opportunities like that, right? A player has to make a decision. Am I gonna go for a shot? Am I gonna go for a pass? Right? And sometimes the feet move faster than your head. So that's the good intentions, right? Nobody wants to just kick the ball out of bounds or anything like that. They're trying to score.
And normally you have such a limited window of time that you need to get that shot off. You try to do it as quickly as possible. Nice backward flick here. And it should be a Kennedy corner here, and it will be. So Kennedy with their fourth corner of this first half. You see the time in the first half dwindling, closing in on 13 minutes. Sidiaco Mundo.
Gotta be careful because he's able to hit the ball really well, and he curves it in. That's really dangerous, right?
Low one, Arias, left foot, cross! Chipped over the bar by Galvan. It's a nice little set play there by Kennedy.
Very, very nice. Well played. Really well played.
And Arias, who has been normally on the right side of the attack, came over specifically for that left-footed touch where he could play it in front. Well designed by Kennedy. Diego Perez entering now, number 9 for Kennedy. Loyola trying to generate an opportunity. They haven't had much here, just one corner kick and no real shots on goal. Tyson Dostal turned back by Kennedy. Good support by Castaneda Rios.
Really good defensive job there by Castaneda Rios, right? He kept composure, and he did what he had to do to just clear the danger away.
Bouncing ball flicked toward the corner. Dostal. And offside flag up.
Really nice view from one of our cameras near the backside of the field. Really shout out for our crew here for the Bloomington Educational Cable. They always do a great job.
Supporting our broadcast through the pandemic, our volunteer crew. Kennedy on a counter. Fuentes Rodriguez almost double-crossed the defender, who just was able to get a touch on it. And now Loyola sprinting ahead. Vivas Montoya looking for options. Needing to wait for some help. There's nobody back there helping on offense. That's how packed in Loyola has been defensively in this game. They're almost out of gas trying to get offensive opportunities. And now Sidiaco Mundo. Again, want to thank our crew. They were out for Friday Night Football. We even did our Inside Jefferson and Kennedy football show last night live. Hope you all were able to catch that. Our virtual Inside Jefferson and Kennedy football. They have been working hard this fall, bringing you extra soccer coverage and now starting up football. Great job by our crew. Tom Ringdahl leads everything. Producer Paul Fournier. And especially on soccer, Andrew has been here for every soccer game. There's been many double headers, so great job by our crew all fall long.
Yes, definitely. Really well done, for our viewers across Bloomington and other parts of the U.S. too.
And quite frankly, it's been more needed this year with the pandemic. Less fans can attend or want to attend, and they're able to catch up and watch the broadcast live in their homes as Siriaco Mundo sends it across. Perez!
And he scores!
There's the goal Kennedy was looking for. They have the lead.
Really good job by Diego Perez. He came in as a sub about 4 minutes ago, right? And the ball bounced off a little bit on the the lower shoulder of the defense for Mankato, and Perez was able to calmly put that one away for Kennedy.
And what have we talked about all game and really all season for Kennedy? It's Jesus Siriaco Mundo, his ability to distribute, and he was the one that played that great ball through to find Perez. So give him the assist, Siriaco Mundo, and Perez with his second goal of the year. Now we don't know who scored the 11 goals for Kennedy, so that does not factor in. If Perez scored on Monday, and very well he could have with 11 goals Kennedy had. But at least as far as we know, his second of the year on that beautiful finish.
Yeah, really nice job as we saw on the review provided by our crew for the Bloomington Educational Cable. Ball bounces off a little bit of the hand of number 13, Andrew Peterson, and then landed on Perez. He was able to maneuver through that and put it in the back of the net. Really well done.
He's another one of the younger guys for Kennedy. He's certainly made an impact here as we've got an Eagle injured. Perez just a sophomore. Siriaco Mundo a little slow to get up. May have been a bit theatrical. Fuentes Rodriguez almost got all the way through. Perez trying to track down this ball. It'll head out for a Loyola throw. Such a huge goal for Kennedy. We talked about the wind. Doesn't necessarily affect Kennedy as much, but still, wind is still wind. It's 20, 25 miles an hour, and Kennedy pays that off with the wind here in the first half, and they get that goal.
Yeah. So it's something nice to go, to halftime, right? Still 7 minutes left to play, but right now they are winning. So they just need to relax, take more control of the game, and keep opening up that defense that has been playing quite well for Mankato.
Richards dives on it. Sometimes that first goal, too, helps you because you're so worried. Kennedy's the favored team in this game. It's a number 3 versus a number 11. And so you want to get that lead. You want to – sometimes you maybe press, I guess is my point a little bit, Mauricio. And now Kennedy maybe can play a little bit more free. Is De Leon trying to chase it down?
Yeah, I completely agree, right? And it's not the first game where the lower-seeded team wins. So that always in the back of the players, too. It's like you don't want to lose to a lower-seeded team, but you don't want to lose at all.
Diego Perez somehow got that through to Loaiza.
And that's what we were referring to when I said just keep control, keep opening up, right? Make them run a little bit, get them tired in the middle of the field, and then once the defense comes out to help, that's when you put the final touches and score another goal.
Sidiako trying for a corner kick, and it should be awarded, at least from this angle. It looked like it went to the right side of that flag, and it did for Kennedy. And we saw that just that last time Loyola had the ball in Kennedy's end. There was 2 players there. That was it. Nobody was even attempting to move forward for the Crusaders.
Absolutely right about that. One of the things that I feel Kennedy look at right now, right on the penalty spot, Loyola has been leaving a lot of space there. Look at that hole, right? Because they're marking man to man in the back and the front, but the penalty area they've been leaving a little bit open. So that's another opportunity for Kennedy to be able to exploit that.
They must have ruled that last incident a handball for Loyola. As you saw,
Correct.
Sidiako was not back by the corner. Now he will be, as Kennedy will have corner kick number 5 here in the first half with 5 minutes remaining. Sidiako Mundo bends it beautifully. That was ended up in a very good spot. De Leon's strike, too high. De Leon got a pretty good piece of that one. Just sailed a little bit too high.
Really nice shot. He saw the opportunity, he took it. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and right now you have the luxury to do those things too, right?
Absolutely.
You're calm and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take this shot. We're winning right now.
And
if it goes in, it's bonus.
Yeah, and that bonus would be one more goal for Kennedy. The way this game has been played, be very difficult for Loyola to put 2 up on the board, quite frankly, in the second half.
Yeah, the other factor here is you don't know how deep of a bench Loyola has, right? I have not seen.
There aren't many
any
players
subs,
over there, I will say that.
but I have not seen subs. And that goes another shot.
Sidiako Mundo with a brilliant goal for Kennedy.
Really, really nice goal. Beautifully placed. Completely out of the reach of the goalie. Coming from the left-hand side. Really, really good luck.
You talk about bending a ball, and normally we're talking about right or left. Sidiako Mundo bent that one down with top spin, Mauricio, to get that to squeeze in underneath the crossbar.
Yeah, we're going to see the replay in a little bit, and you're going to see he just look up, and he saw the goalie a little bit out of the reach. Look, he nicely played.
And look at that ball bending downward. That's with the wind, too, by the way, Mauricio.
Yes.
Even more difficult to do with the wind, trying to keep that ball in the air. Just
Beautifully.
a brilliant strike from Jesus Sidiako Mundo.
Beautifully done.
We don't know how many he scored on Monday. You have to figure he would have gotten in on one of those 11 goals, but that notwithstanding his 5th of the year. So Kennedy all of a sudden breathing room, and they're threatening to break this one wide open. Sidiako Mundo again. De Leon. Return pass to Sidiako Mundo. A little bit too far, and Loyola plays it away.
And what we were just talking, right before the beautiful goal scored by Siriaco, is Mankato starts to look a little tired. There's only so much pressure they're able to handle, and it doesn't look like players are warming up for subs, and it's a lot of stress for the players in the field.
Here are the Crusaders trying to counter. Late in the half. Rubio got in the way of that. Pass toward the middle. Loyola playing with a little bit more urgency here, but Kennedy rubs out that chance, and now look out. They've got some numbers. Not the best ball from Sidiako Mundo. Puts a header to it, though. Kennedy right back the other way. Foul here on the Crusaders. For a shorter player like Jesus Sidiako Mundo, he's probably only 5'7"-ish. Not sure the exact height, but he does very well on balls through the air with his body position. Don't necessarily have to be the tallest guy or the highest leaper necessarily.
As a player, you learn to play with, to your strengths, and I think that's something that he has learned by playing against players who are taller and stronger than him. So he has learned to position his body really well and be able to win those fights. They're extremely important right there in the middle of the field. Hence, that's why he's earned that position, right? That's not an easy position for any player to have.
Good idea. Let's try to slip it through to Fuentes Rodriguez, but his cross was blocked. Throw in Loaiza. Fuentes Rodriguez with a minute to go. Strike from Perez, trying for his second goal, but that sails high.
Nice shot. He did not calm down as he was hoped to, for his second goal of the night. But really good try. I mean, that they have shown in the past that they can score from far.
We've seen really early in the season, Mauricio, it was Siriaco Mundo and Fuentes Rodriguez, and then who else was going to provide the offense from Kennedy? But as this season has gone along, we've seen some of those younger guys like a Perez, like a De Leon, a couple of sophomores, and now even more recently, guys like Justin Arias, a freshman. They have started to contribute both with goals and assists for Kennedy. And the Eagles have put 2 up on the board here in the first half. A very strong half. Mauricio, Kennedy heavily favored here, number 3 seed versus a number 11. And Kennedy did exactly what you want to do against a lower seeded team. They dominated the play, and they put 2 goals in the back of the net.
Yeah, really well done job by the Kennedy team. The substitutions came and made a really good balance with the attacking team. And now they take a break ahead 2-0. So look forward for the second half and see what it brings us.
Kennedy 40 minutes away from advancing to the section semifinals, which would be played 6 days from now, next Tuesday, against either Faribault or Mankato West. Good first half for Kennedy. Second half, if you're watching live, about 9 minutes from now, if you're watching the tape-delayed version, right after this break, Kennedy in the section quarterfinals leading 2-0 here at Bloomington Stadium.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Back at Bloomington Stadium getting ready. It's a blustery Bloomington Stadium, as you can see those leaves moving, the net rippling in the background. Kennedy rippled that net that you see in the foreground of your picture twice in the first half. They lead 2-0. Diego Perez and Jesus Siriacamundo. The goals for Kennedy, 40 minutes away from moving on to the section semifinals to face either Mankato West or Faribault. Hey, shout out to the Kennedy girls soccer team. They pulled an upset last night in their first round playoff game. They're the number 12 seed, and they faced the number 5 seed New Life Academy, and it was all Kennedy, 4-1. Now, truthfully, hard to rank we talked about this during the boys broadcast this year. Where do you rank Kennedy? Because the girls team, they had played an all AA schedule. So you go from playing some of the top teams in the state of Minnesota, like a Benilde St. Margaret's, Chaska, and others, and all of a sudden you're in single A playoffs, and they seeded Kennedy 12th, did the QRF, and we'll see how far Kennedy can make a run here. They play 4th-seeded Simley tomorrow. It's 5 o'clock at Simley High School if you want to head out and check out that girls game. Again, Kennedy in Section 3 Single A. So great win for them last night in pretty dominating fashion. And Mauricio, pretty dominating performance by the Kennedy boys here in the first half as they really controlled the time of possession. Loyola's going to get the win here in the second half, but Kennedy did what they needed to do in the first 40 minutes.
Well, I can tell you that Loyola show at the beginning of the game a strong defense, and some moments there they show that they could be dangerous with a long ball, right? But Kennedy was able to stick to their game and just continue passing the ball, opening up, utilizing that midfield to transition, and that paid off at the end. I think a big factor too, not taking away anything from Kennedy too, but the fact that those players play entire 40 minutes. And, they might have to play the second half completely too. And they're not playing against an easy team. They're making them run. So it's definitely going to be a factor for the second half.
We are underway in this second half. It's a bad clearance by Loyola. Perez flicks it across to Siriacamundo, and that was blocked. That'll hurt in the morning.
Really close to be a handball right there.
It was.
By the Mankato.
Siriacamundo again. This one squeezes wide of that near post. Kennedy scored 11 goals on Monday in a shutout. We figured that would happen against a team in Tri-City United. Was not a challenge for Kennedy. This one a little bit more so tonight. Perez stops, waits, heads, crosses. A little behind his intended target. Here come the Crusaders again with the wind here in the second half. That wind about 20 miles an hour or so, gusting maybe to 25 or even as much as 30. It's been out of the northwest here, so what that means is it's moving from your lower left corner to the top right corner most of the time. We did also find out the overtime rules here for the postseason in 2020, and if Loyola was able to score at least 2 here in the second half, it would be 2 10-minute overtime periods. That would be a golden goal, meaning if one team scores in either overtime period or the first team to score, the game would be over. If the game's still tied after those 2 10-minute overtimes, and they'd switch sides of the field between the first 10-minute and second minute. After that, it would go to penalty kicks.
All right, it's good information to know. Again, they changed a lot of rules with the pandemic, so just curious about what it will be if there's a tie game.
Important to note, obviously, Kennedy, especially now that they have the lead, hoping that it doesn't come to that.
Well, and there's some leagues, right, where the higher seeded team with a tie will move on. So that's why I was also curious to find out what the rules were going to be for these playoffs.
Given I'm not sure what section those are in, but I would much rather see at least an overtime. And I like these particular rules. I don't know why you'd favor a team just because they're seated higher.
Yeah.
Seems like a harsh penalty for whatever, especially if the rankings are based off of computer QRF rankings.
Yes.
And not off of human coaches' decisions, and maybe have seen all these teams play throughout the year.
Yep.
Again, it's
Completely agree with your.
going to take something special here for
Assessment.
Loyola. They need at least 2 in the second half to start having those conversations.
Kennedy continues to show really good control, right? They continue to control at half field. They just need to. The composure part is going to be important at this part of the game.
They're going to face counter opportunities. And the nice thing is Kennedy doesn't have to push offensive chances. They can just kind of let them happen. Here's Loiza. Somehow kept control of that ball. Cross for De Leon. Not playing it cleanly was Richards and blasted away.
Good job there by Loiza. Keep fighting for that ball and was able to put the cross away.
Quick throw to Siriaco Mundo. And look at Kennedy's defensive trio there. They are at midfield. Kennedy has just dominated the midfield area in this game. Loyola, their best chance is just to blast it ahead and try to run it down.
Yeah, the other thing you're seeing with Kennedy too is you pointed out really well that there's a trio right now defending, right? So that means the people that you would use as an outside defenders, now they're more of the attacking part of the team more than the defense, right? So those three need to stay together and be really, really close.
Chipped ahead, Lansdale. We talked about those instincts to know when to come out, and you saw it right there.
Really, really good job making that decision and coming out. He saw that he was going to be able to make it there before anybody else.
Certainly a guy in Carter Lansdale has been a difference maker for Kennedy this year. Not always the case with goaltenders, especially at the high school level, but Lansdale provides them with some great depth. Here's Siriaco Mundo dancing around. Fuentes Rodriguez. It's Perez, waits, and maybe waited too long. De Leon trying to track it down. And Loyola finally clears the danger. Kennedy right back, though. Perez again. Nice move by Diego, but a slide tackle by the Crusaders. Armando Zamora with a nice play as Perez is still down for Kennedy. Siriaco Mundo. Perez now gets up, chips it to the 18. Loiza waits. Or that's actually
That's a goal.
Artola! And Artola scores! Omar Artola finds the back of the net. The
Really
senior
well
for
played.
Kennedy.
Really, really well played. We saw they continue to play even if they have a player down. They move on. He was able to find the back of the net.
That even caught me off guard, Artola. I was not expecting that strike. I know he's capable, but that happened in the blink of an eye. And we were all concerned with Perez. For a lot of that play, Mauricio, he would have been in an offside position had Kennedy tried to play it ahead.
Well, and he did not play the ball or anything. He knew he was off. He was offsides, and then
Right.
he just kind of walk, kind of away from the play. And that's what you want to do if you know you're offsides. You want to walk away from the play, and you don't want to be a factor if they call it, okay, he's going to be offsides.
And he got up to his feet, and by the time it was played into the box, Kennedy was onside, and that paved the way for Omar Artola for Kennedy with his second goal of the year.
It's beautiful, chested down, perfect. way to bring the ball down and take a left kick. It was a nice goal.
So now Kennedy by 3. I'd almost say puts this game away, Mauricio. I mean, I know there's still a half hour plus of this game left, but Kennedy in complete control now. Look at Siriaco Mundo. His cross almost got through to De Leon. And again, all Loyola can do is just relieve that pressure.
Yeah, they have 2 players on top that they're supposed to be chasing those balls when they clear them. That's if that's how they're gonna try to come up with 3 goals. That's gonna be extremely difficult for them to do.
It's a Kennedy team. We talked about Loyola's recent run. Kennedy's also won 3 in a row. And they've only given up 1 goal in that stretch. So Loyola needing 3 here in the second half. Fuentes Rodriguez toward the corner. Siriaco Mundo. Fuentes Rodriguez! And it's a save. Still not out of the 18. It's a goal kick for Loyola. Best chance for Diego Fuentes Rodriguez right there.
Yeah. And then Diego Perez trying to make the best out of the clear, right? He saw that they were trying to clear the ball, and he puts his body in between. Rebound of his body, and the ball can goes in, too.
Fuentes Rodriguez gives way to De Leon. Siriaco Mundo, De Leon! Left-footed attempt, and outstretching was Richards. That's his best save of the game.
Good job there by the goalie from Loyola.
De Leon didn't get all of it, but he got enough of it where it almost snuck past Richards. Kennedy getting more and more dangerous as I think fatigue's starting to set in, Mauricio. Don't remember a Loyola sub in this game.
Yeah, I think that we might be experiencing the first one.
There's one ready to check in right now. The next situation.
You can also see that Kennedy is, pushing forward, right? You can see Siriaco. He's also playing more like a attacking midfielder in the middle, but like 3 forwards almost.
Diego Perez missing wide. Checking in for Mankato Loyola. A Murray Perez, no relation. He's a senior. First sub, we believe, for Mankato Loyola. I don't recall one in the first half.
I don't remember either.
He'll be needed back on the defensive end as some of those guys understandably gassed. They've been pressured all game by Kennedy. Again, Kennedy with the win. They'll play either Faribault or Mankato West next Tuesday. If Mankato West wins, Kennedy will have to travel down to Mankato. If Faribault wins, they'll come up to Bloomington Stadium. And the freshman, Mauricio, has checked in. Angel Fuentes Rodriguez, number 6. Another promising player for Kennedy. With some great ball skills, just like his older brother. Vida Martinez lines that one up, headed away. And now Loyola on the move. Raimundo Zamora tries to get past Gonzalez Rodriguez. Kennedy recovers though. And here's Perez, just tripped up, or that would have been promising for Kennedy. It's a foul.
Very good defensive move there by Marvin, and he had to contain it and wait for support from his team.
Kennedy throw here. Last year in this section, there were less teams, 15 of them this year. One team opted out of the section. There were 16 teams originally. Last year, there were 12. Kennedy was the number 1 seed, beat New Ulm in the quarterfinal, beat Waseca in the semifinal, as that one goes off of the football crossbar, and then lost to Mankato West, who was the number 2 seed, 1-0. That Mankato West goal was scored in the 61st minute last year to devastate Kennedy, and they're looking for a possible rematch 6 days from now. That Mankato West Faribault game, by the way, 7 o'clock start, so that one, I believe, just getting going right now. So no score update as of yet from that game. They just started that one about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we'll see what team will Kennedy will have to face, but they should be prepared for either one of the teams, right?
There's Fuentes Rodriguez. We've talked about it all year. Kennedy's played all AA schools. Perez trying for a second. Richards, a great save. And the rebound stabbed wide by Siriaco Mundo. It may have been deflected. But Kennedy, they've played all AA schools with the COVID rules, just conference games. And quite frankly, Mauricio, what could better prepare them for single A competition than to play against some of the powerhouse metro area, Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area teams all year?
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Meanwhile, we're seeing the shot from Perez. Good deflection by Richards and clear away by their defense. Penalty kick. Handball on the 18.
So Kennedy with another opportunity is Fuentes Rodriguez was about to get a shot off, but it was whistled dead before that. And now the Eagles, penalty kick time. And I mean, who else would you trot out there? I'd trot out number 10, Jesus Siriaco Mundo.
He has proven that he's very effective, kicking the ball, and he has a really good technique. Let's see what happens with the penalty kick.
His second goal of the game, Jesus Siriaco Mundo.
Really good job. Played in the corner.
Even if you guess right, I don't know that Richards would have been able to get there where this was placed, Mauricio.
A lot of it is.
And he did guess right.
He did guess right. But it was very well taken. It was with strength, close to the ground, extremely hard for any goalie to get there.
So Jesus Siriaco Mundo, what a night for the senior. Already with 2 goals. And Kennedy, all Eagles in this one. We knew it would be a tougher test than Monday. Just by looking at you have the Loyola Crusaders, they beat Tri-City area 12-0. So you knew it would be a stiffer test. But Kennedy has been up to the challenge so far. Trying for a run here, Zamora. And they're going to get, another penalty shot here. Or penalty kick, I should say. They scored on 3 penalty kicks on Monday, did Loyola. See if we can get a look at the replay. At first glance, I thought Kennedy was okay here defensively.
Yep. And the referee just went to check with his with the side referee just to make sure, and it looks like it got confirmed.
Ramiro Zamora will take this penalty shot.
Take a look at the replay.
And it may have been that first touch by Gonzalez Rodriguez that drew that call, Mauricio.
It could have been. Could have been because the slide tackle.
I thought that was good.
The player tripped on top of the player.
Right. Here's the penalty kick. Lansdale may have got a piece of it, but it still goes in. So the Crusaders are on the board. Zamora scores again for the second consecutive game on a penalty kick. And that's 4 penalty kick goals in 2 games for Mankato Loyola here in the playoffs.
Looks like Carter went the right way and is just a little bit short, right? He was able to touch the ball.
So give Zamora credit. His 3rd of the season. Crusaders maybe not done yet. Kennedy just can't give up penalty kick chances apparently against this team. That is amazing. 4 penalty kick goals in 2 games. To energize some of the Mankato Loyola fans that have made their way up 169 here to Bloomington Stadium.
And now we're away.
Richards calls off his defense. Zamora again. Touches it around Gonzalez Rodriguez. Waiting for some help. And it's taken away by Kennedy. Vida Martinez, very poised. Nice touches here by Artola. Up for Angel Fuentes Rodriguez.
Well, and Kennedy should not feel like they're in any rush to do anything at this point. The only thing they should be concerned about is maintain the pace of the game. They are the ones who need to call out how fast or how slow this game should be going forward, right? They're up 3 goals, and they need to keep composure.
Loaiza, Perez, Siriaco Mundo. Look at the footwork. Chips it ahead to Angel Fuentes Rodriguez, but too far. Ballerina type footwork there from Jesus Siriaco Mundo.
Yeah, definitely some crafty footwork there for Siriaco. The ball was really well played also. Therefore, looking for the forward, Angel.
Gonzalez Rodriguez gets it up ahead. Here's the freshman, Angel Fuentes Rodriguez.
Looks like the referees are having a little bit of a meeting here.
Angel, such a promising player for Kennedy, getting more experience here. Maybe needs to hit a little bit of a growth spurt, judging by his older brother. I think I need to still hit my growth spurt, Mauricio. I don't know if it's going to happen at this point in my life, but
yeah,
I think it will for number 6 in Navy.
Yeah, I think I'm done with mine, if you ask me. Hopefully. Otherwise, I'll have to go on the sides and not so much for height.
Right. Yeah, we grow the other way now. Perez shot blocked. Kennedy just calmly continues to possess. Jack Bizzle has checked in. He had some nice moments in the season-ending win over Robbinsdale Cooper, did Bizzle. Had a beautiful assist on a Diego Fuentes Rodriguez goal and then almost had a goal of his own in the final couple of minutes. Hit the post on a really good strike. So Bizzle, another guy providing depth for Kennedy, another younger guy, just a sophomore.
That also gives them, opportunity to try them at different spots too. So coaches can see how effective they can be in different areas of the field.
Toward the middle. Perez nearly was able to gain control. Here's a cross toward Perez. Swings and misses. And then on the second try, he got a hold of that one, but it had a little too much height on it. And I think you're seeing some of these younger players, Mauricio, not necessarily because Kennedy players need a break. There's 6 more days between now and when Kennedy plays again, but they're getting some of these younger guys more playoff experience. I'm sure we didn't see the game on Monday, but 11-0, you'd have to think that, Kennedy played pretty much everybody in that game too, but
Yes.
just keeping everybody fresh, getting everyone more experience, kind of what we're seeing here in the second half.
Well, and the other thing you have to think about is you're trying to prevent injuries as well too. So if you're gonna keep a player playing, you're taking a chance on an injury, right? So if you're winning, you can try different players. You can give opportunity to the younger players to get some time on the field. So, absolutely nothing wrong with that.
More subs here for both teams. And for Kennedy, running on is Jaime Reyes, number 12. Reyes, another guy we've seen get pretty significant minutes throughout the year. Angel Fuentes Rodriguez, look at this ball to Bizzle! Richards got a piece of it, and again Bizzle comes so close to getting that first goal. What a ball, though, by the freshman Angel Fuentes Rodriguez.
It's a beautiful ball right there between the two defenders, and he did the best that he could, and Richards came out and closed the angle really beautifully too. So you have to give a lot of credit to the goalie.
How agonizing for Bissell. And again, I don't know, he may have gotten one of the 11 goals on Monday, I'm not sure, but boy, he looked a little frustrated on that one. What do I have to do to find the back of the net here? Final 18 minutes, this quarterfinal. Loyola wanting another penalty kick. That's been their offense here in the postseason. 4 out of their 5 goals so far have been on a PK.
They're dangerous in the 18. That's what that means.
Well, and the way they counterattack, you're usually in a one-on-one situation back there if you move quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another dangerous deflection. Lansdale watches that sail just wide of the net.
Seems to be like it's getting a little bit windier right now. I don't know if you've been able to check your forecast wind advisory, but it seems to be a little bit windier and getting colder too.
Yeah, wind advisories for most of the southern metro. Wind has been a factor in this one. Loyola with the win here in the second half, trying to take advantage. As that time it didn't help them as it sailed high.
Nice try there, and Carter making sure the ball does not go in, right? He's following the trajectory of the ball.
Carter Lansdale is going to get at least one more game. We don't know if this is our last soccer broadcast. It might be. Kennedy girls are still alive. They'd have to pull probably a couple more upsets. They wanted to get a chance at a home game, and they'd have to need significant help. They're number 12 seed. Kennedy certainly could get another home game, but if it is the last broadcast, we want to thank you all for tuning in throughout the year. As Angel Fuentes Rodriguez trying to imitate his older brother there with some fancy footwork, but we've certainly seen our viewership numbers go up with the pandemic. We appreciate all of our viewers out there, and we hope that you've enjoyed our coverage of Kennedy soccer this year.
Yeah, and just kind of heads up to everyone, right? Not only we have had Minnesota and Bloomington coverage, but we have out-of-state people watching in the past, as well as people from Guatemala. So we have gone international.
Absolutely. Anywhere you've got a Wi-Fi connection and a
Facebook account?
Facebook account, some sort of device that connects to Wi-Fi. There's so many of them right now, but and again, normally we're not able to bring you Minnesota State High School League playoff games live, but the high school league doing a nice thing to, obviously with the pandemic, if people aren't willing or able to make it to a stadium, providing them a way to watch coverage live. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. It looks like the both teams have settled a little bit more, and they're trying to figure out what the next steps are, right? Kennedy is doing some subbing. They're trying younger players.
Bautista, I believe, coming in right now. Isaac is Aguirre Bautista, number 23, a sophomore. Kendi cross and ripples the outside of the net. Chested down there by the Eagles. Loiza ahead. Bautista! His shot blocked. Siriaco Mundo. Might be time for his night to end here pretty soon, Mauricio.
I would, give him a couple more minutes and see if we have somebody in the bench that can take his spot right now. It's not an easy spot to fill with just any player, right?
Might be a little snow there. You saw in that last shot. Kind of find that hard to believe right now. My phone says 52 degrees, but this is the year 2020, Mauricio. Anything's possible, I guess.
At this point, nothing really would surprise me. They're talking about Duluth having some snow over the weekend and probably going to stay in the ground too, so I would not be surprised if it's snowing right now.
Bautista making some things happen here. Slides it over to Bizzle. Chips it ahead. Loyola relieves that pressure. Gonzalez Rodriguez. A lot of poise there from number 25.
Good composure there by the Kennedy defense.
They're not going to make a lot of subs back there. They don't have a lot of defenders, and they're so experienced in that back end.
Yeah, I don't know how comfortable, coaches are with.
This is onside, and oh, what a chance there for Vivas Montoya. A chance that he would like to have back, maybe rushing it a bit there. He had all the time in the world.
He did, and there was nobody behind him.
And that's the kind of chance the Kennedy games going forward, they cannot give up a situation like that.
Gotta be careful, right? They gotta keep playing smart. The other player was offsides, but the player that touched the ball last was not. So that's why the referee is like, keep playing. Yeah, and talking about the defense, right, that we, I don't know that I have seen many teams unless they're winning by a lot of goals. That's when they sub the defense. Midfielders, forwards, right, they can take a little bit of a chance. Defense, not too much.
We have seen Carter Lansdale come out of a couple games this year. We'll see if that happens here in the final 10 minutes. Owen Peters is the backup goaltender for Kennedy. Just over 10 more minutes before we wrap up a Kennedy Eagle playoff win. They'll be moving on to the section semifinals next Tuesday against either Mankato West or Faribault. Let's throw back to Kennedy. Worthington, the top seed. The Worthington boys, they were 9-0-1 in the regular season, so they got the number 1 seed in this section. They're doing battle tonight. As you see this windy, possibly starting to snow night. Worthington taking on Mankato East, the 8 seed, and then you got the St. Peter number 4 seed. St. Peter was 6-3-3 in the regular season, taking on Marshall. They were 5-2-3. That's the top half of the bracket. Kennedy would love to see one of those 4 teams in the section championship. And that would be next Thursday,
So they'll be
a
playing
week from tomorrow.
Tuesday and Thursday then.
Tuesday and Thursday, correct. It's a ball for Bautista. Just wide for the sophomore.
Good opportunity created by Kennedy, looking from the far side on the right hand to make the cross to the middle.
Look at this run. Bautista! Shot blocked. You see that last attempt. Diego Fuentes Rodriguez, Mauricio checking back into the game. Handball lobbied for by Mankato Loyola and called. They're going to make them redo this free kick, though.
Yeah, the Kennedy player did not give enough space and tried to block it, and that's why the referee is asking them to redo.
It was also put down so quickly that Kennedy was in the area because couldn't get out of there fast enough. Kennedy's shot missing wide. Crusaders trying to play as fast as they can, but just simply haven't had enough offensive chances in this game. Kennedy made the one mistake earlier in this half that led to a breakaway, but Loyola couldn't capitalize on it. Bautista strike.
Yeah. Well, they got to be careful, right? They're trying to take shots, but they're also under a lot of pressure to take the shots, and that is creating this that is happening, right? Goalie gets to it, and then he's able to push his team forward. So, gotta keep composure. Gotta make sure that if you're gonna take the shot, is because you truly have the opportunity to do it. I think there's second or third substitution for Mankato right now.
Getting a little bit more frequent with the subs. Carlos Garcia, senior. Maybe they're trying to get every senior into the game here. 6 of them for Loyola playing their final game tonight.
They don't have many seniors. Sophomore and juniors, they have a lot.
Crusaders had that nice end of the season where they've won their last 3 after starting 0-8, but have run into a very strong Kennedy team who is seeded 3, but so hard to determine those seeds. This one chipped to the side of Lansdale and kicked over the top. Gotta love how the Crusaders continue to battle.
Well, they're not giving up, right? That's the worst thing that they can do at this point. Meanwhile, it sounds like the fans are getting involved in the game too, right? They're trying to cheer their team and tell them to keep fighting.
Kennedy girls continuing their playoff run. Tomorrow they'll play Simley High School. Simley, the number 4 seed. They had a bye in the first round. Kennedy upset 5th-seeded New Life Academy. And I only call that an upset because Kennedy seeded 12th, but how so impossible to seed a team when they're only playing AA competition. You're only rewarded points for wins in the QRF, and so Kennedy seeded 12th, clearly showing probably not the 12th best team in Section 3A, and they'll get another chance against Simley tomorrow night. Good luck to the Kennedy girls.
Yeah, definitely wishing them a good luck and they continue with their playoff run.
Boys will get at least one more game as well next Tuesday. Don't know the location yet. Hopefully it's here. If it is, we'll have it for you on BEC-TV. Kennedy going to get its 4th consecutive win here after those 2 tough losses that we saw at home to Benilde, and then that even tougher one against St. Louis Park, 3-2. Both were 1-goal games. Kennedy leading that game against St. Louis Park all throughout the first half, gave up that goal with 1 second left, and then had numerous chances to tie in the second half after they fell behind by 2.
Yeah, and both of those teams are really good teams too, so nothing to feel bad about it.
Nothing to hang your head. You're right,
Exactly.
Mauricio, about either loss, but the fact is that Kennedy played well enough to win both of those games, or at least maybe felt like they should have won at least one of those. So
Yeah.
now they've righted the ship with 4 consecutive wins.
And sometimes you learn a lot from those games, right? The games that you lose, if it's the right coaching, if it's the right approach, then you're gonna learn about it.
And that goal they gave up against St. Louis Park, that one with 1 second left in the half, did not need to happen if Kennedy just would have hustled back and not taken. They thought the half was going to end or should have ended. But St. Louis Park got off a free kick quickly and scored. And you'd rather have that play happen to you in the regular season and learn from it, Mauricio,
Yes.
than in the postseason.
Completely agree.
As tough as that goal was to take. And that goal didn't necessarily determine the entire game. There was still a second half to play, but at the end of the day, you lose by 1, and you look back on that play,
And by 1 second too.
or 1 second. And it's one thing if it's just someone has an amazing strike and scores a goal with a second left, but Kennedy should have prevented that goal. They've certainly played well ever since that tough loss. Blasted ahead, Lansdale waiting for it, couple of hops. and waits till it crosses the 18. Final minute here from Bloomington Stadium. Kennedy trying to push for one more.
Really long ball and gets a corner kick out of it.
Plenty of time here for Kennedy. Injured Loyola player.
Yeah, those runs, if you take the wrong step, right, it's the end of the game. You've been playing for 80 minutes. Could, hamstring could be a dangerous play.
Siriaco Mundo corner. Fuentes Rodriguez. And Siriaco Mundo lets that roll out. See if they even attempt another corner. They don't need to. And actually, they're going to rule this a goal kick. So, Kennedy, a strong performance. 2 in the first half, 2 more in the second half. The Eagles on their way to the section semifinals against either Mankato West or Faribault. A convincing 4-1 win, Mauricio, that really wasn't in very much doubt for the majority of this game.
No, really good recognition to the Mankato team, right? They came out, they played hard. They showed some moments of opportunity to play the Eagles, but the Eagles came out strong, and they came out with a win, being the better team on the field, definitely.
Give Loyola credit, you mentioned them. They played hard, had a nice end of the season with the 3-game winning streak until tonight, but it was Kennedy's night tonight as they controlled the play and did what they needed to do against a lower-seeded opponent, and that was to strike early. Kennedy scoring twice in the first half with goals from Diego Perez and Jesus Siriaco Mundo. They added one in the second half as well by Siriaco Mundo, and also had that great goal on the other side as well in that second half, escaping Artola, scoring that fourth goal for Kennedy to make it a 4-1 final. Mauricio, final thoughts on this one, and what does Kennedy need to continue to do in the section semifinals next Tuesday?
Well, they need to continue to control the ball and keep the composure, right? Especially in the middle of the field. They've shown that they're really good controlling that and keeping the passing. That's what they need to do throughout the playoffs to make it to the championship and then move on to state.
Well, hopefully Kennedy can do that. They are 2 wins away from that section championship. As the season ends for Mankato Loyola with a record of 3-9. Kennedy now 7-5-1. Their season will continue on Tuesday. Could be a home game, might be on the road. It'll be either in Mankato against Mankato West or right here against Faribault. That'll wrap it up. Again, if this is our last home broadcast, I hope you've enjoyed our expanded coverage of soccer. This year it has been a treat for us to provide that coverage for you. Mauricio, great to be working with you again, my friend. Really enjoyed this one.
Same here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And, Josh, an honor to work with you, too.
All right, Kennedy wins it in the section quarterfinal 4-1. For our entire crew, for Mauricio Berrientos, this is Josh Powers saying good night from Bloomington Stadium.